Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do a little plein air painting here with some sunflowers, or one sunflower. And what I did was tape off my canvas with some masking tape in the shape of a flower. Now down here you can see the tape is still showing there, but what it was just little strips of tape that you could tape into the canvas like that. And I started off with some ultramarine blue in this acrylic paint, some cerulean blue down below to mix it in, and a little white near the bottom. And I'm using a 2-inch brush just to tap it in. Light on the bottom and darker in the top is kind of what the sky usually is. You never know with the sky though. So I'm putting a little more white down here. Now this masked tape, I kind of counted, there was roughly about 27 leaves on this sunflower. And I'm just kind of working that in. Now the ultramarine blue is closer to the top, making it a little bit darker, and then I've added some white. We're going to finish off the clouds here. Just kind of scumble in a few clouds. And this acrylic paint dries real quick. You're going to have to try to keep your brushes and your canvas and your palette wet. And I usually use a little water spritzer. This is to mist the canvas or the palette. So just a light mist so you can work your paint around. Outside, especially in the summer, the acrylic paints really dry quick. So you got to kind of go for it real quick if you can. But that's part of the fun. Picking up a little more white. I'm going to get those clouds highlighted just a little more. Little round circular motions near the top. Just tapping it in and circling around. Clouds come in so many different shapes. You can't hardly get them wrong, but sometimes that happens. I'll put a couple way back here. Disappearing into the horizon. Now when we pull this tape off, it's going to give you a pretty good indication of the shape of the flower. And you can take a dry brush and just whisk those clouds. Take a nice soft brush. Blend them into the sky a little bit. Whoop. There we go. And so almost done with the clouds. A little more white. And so on acrylics also, I like to keep my brushes in the water when I'm not using them, or spritz them and spray them so you don't have them dry out your brushes. And then once it's dry, they're hard to clean, so got to keep them wet. Got a little water can here. So we're going to move into some of the foreground colors, and that's going to be mostly green and yellow, and might even put a little yellow in the sky. So with the addition of white and yellow near the bottom, going to give it nice horizon color. Definitely try this out. It's so much fun. And then we're going to go with some nice greens. Now this green I'm going to mix with white and yellow. Give it kind of a sunny leafy color. Here I'm just taking big strokes. The sunflowers have such big leaves. I'm going to take a clean brush and just go over the sky one more time. Smooth it out a little bit. Gonna have fun doing this. You got to try it. So now I'm going to go with a ultramarine blue and green to make a nice dark green. You can add a little burnt sienna, which is basically dark brown. Get that nice dark green color for a background, and a little bit of yellow. Now I'm just filling in the bottom of the canvas. This is going to give a nice background to paint on. Move my bottle. And so I'm just going to brush that in real quick. Then we're going to add a few leaves. The leaves are easy to do. What I usually do is take a brush, I guess they call it a filbert. You got funny names for these brushes, but I just say pick up the size you think you need. Of course, the bigger the canvas, probably the bigger the brush, I would think. And I'm going to go in with some green, yellow, and white. And I'm going to give some big leaves going on down here. Give it some leaves. That brush is real wet. These leaves are kind of like a heart shaped, I guess. You could add details. There's little veins in the leaves. And just wash them in real quick like that. That works. And if it doesn't work for you, if you think something's wrong, go ahead and paint over it. I won't tell nobody. Now the tops of the leaves are going to be probably a little bit brighter than the background or the bottom of the leaf. So we're going to put a little more white in some of them, a little more yellow. Now we're going to bring in some more of that dark color right there. Now, a lot of times you'll see some of the green from the back of the leaf, right behind the yellow leaf, I should say. So I'm going to put a few indications of some of those leaves back there before I pull the tape off. And we'll see how that tape pulling goes. Sometimes that works pretty easily, sometimes not so much. But we're almost ready to do that. And we could add details in later, like I say, but I'm going to throw a couple more leaves right down here. Because if we leave the leaves, they'll feel left out. You know how bad that can be. A little lighter colored leaves than the background. So I can't wait. I'm going to pull that tape off, see what happens here. We got a little bit here more. Take the edge of a knife or something to pry up that tape. And then you could add your yellows for your leaves and the brown center for the middle of the sunflower or whatever flower you tend to be wanting to paint. This makes it easier for that translucent yellow to be nice and bright. If you paint that acrylic yellow over a darker color, it's really tough to get any brightness out of it because it'll show the bottom color or the base color. That's why we're not doing a base color on this right now, other than the foreground and the background. Okay, come on, little leaves. There we go. Now, one part now would be to add a little bit of yellow in your leaves. I'm just using yellow full strength here. And you can keep on going around and around until you get that done. And oh, pick up a lot of green there. So round and round we go, and then we'll be adding a little orange on the bottom end of the leaf. It tends to be the most popular color for that.